one. Welcome, everyone, to our Power Thinking, rejuvenating your amazing mind training for Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. And I'll be saying 2026 in just a few weeks. This is our 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time edition, and I'm your moderator, Stanley Green. Always a pleasure to be with you on Wednesdays. It's just a special day. It's the middle of the week, and maybe getting into a routine and need a boost, and this is your opportunity to get that 10,000 plus minutes each week. And we're just asking that you invest 30, maybe a little more than 30, with us on Wednesdays, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and then 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a special edition where we focus on, if you can equate it to one of our inner strengths of resilience, is self-efficacy. This belief that you have control over your ability to succeed. And when it comes to succeeding, there's an important activity that we need to embrace and master, and that is goal setting. And it's never too early to set goals, and you should be setting them every day. You have daily goals, but you want to have those big goals. You don't want to wait. Now that we're getting close to the end of the year, we don't want to wait until January when folks are starting to talk about resolutions and so forth, and we get started, we write some things down, and then a few months later, it just goes by the wayside. So I have Carla Hill, who are a longtime member, who just celebrated 7 years with us. And there are a few people who were on have been with us at least 5 years, and we appreciate you as well. Carla has a company called GPS Personal and Business Strategies, and she kind of helps people and guide them, to be, the best that they can be through a series of assessments, goal setting, and so forth. So I thought it would be appropriate to have one of our longtime members to share with you her thoughts and processes around goal setting. So, Carla, thank you for doing this again. Really appreciate you being here. So I want to, before we get started, and Carla, I may want to ask you this question, and then we can take it from there. So we have a poll on LinkedIn, and we still have a day left on that poll. So go to LinkedIn, Stanley Green, and go to my posts. And this was posted a couple days ago, and the poll question had 45 respondents so far. And the simple question is: have you set your goals for 2026? And 20% of the folks said, yes, I'm all done. All done. Now 58%, almost 60% said, not yet. They haven't started. And 22% said, hey, working on them. And some put in comments. In fact, one comment that I remember was, well, I'm still working on my 2024 and 2025 goals. So a little behind the eight ball there. So feel free on your cell phone or your laptop to go to LinkedIn and take that poll. So Carla, thank you for joining us. So what are your thoughts about that poll and where you are in terms of setting goals?
I think it's an excellent question, and this is the right time, or even earlier. If you think about how organizations set up their goals, their third quarter reports, their fourth quarter reports, is always before the date that it's due. It's months beforehand. And if we wait until January to set our goals, then we're really looking at effectively March to get any results from those goals. So this is the time sort of to start planning them out. Where I am working on them, writing them out. And there's a lot of attention paid towards that right now, and a lot of techniques we can be picking up as to documenting those goals. What I'm choosing to do is, and you mentioned, just my 35 years in HR experience in preparing, and also in my career planning practice or work optimization practice, is and one of the reasons I named my firm GPS is if you think about a GPS device, it it tells you where you want to go, but the first step is where you are, getting a baseline so you can really start, right? If you're going, "Oh, I wanna get to Los Angeles, but where are you? Are you in San Francisco or are you in Philadelphia? That is going to determine what route you take. And it's the same thing, I think, with our personal development in terms of our goals, whether it's in the area of faith, fitness, fun, right? Finance, family. What I want to just submit this, right? Is what happened good? What was a good thing that happened in 2025, right? What can you actually continue to improve in 2026? I'll take this for example. I used this morning. I've been struggling to increase my water intake. And what I always say that there's not an absence of information or content, it's an absence of execution and implementation. So I've always known that I'm supposed to drink at least, half my body weight in ounces to get optimum health in terms of water. The benefits, everybody knows the benefits. You can Google that. But how do I get it in? And in this past week or 2 weeks ago, visited a holistic doctor with my mother who was explaining he was coaching his son on how to get how to get your water in. And his suggestion was drink it 3 to 4 times a day in one sitting. So, because I was sipping through the day, I wasn't measuring it. But if I pick up a go I know this is 28 ounces. I need to get in 62 ounces per day. If I drink 2 and a half of these, then I have my water content for the day, right? But before I was just, "Oh, I gotta get it in," but I wasn't measuring. So I want in 2026 for that to be an established habit where that's on automatic pilot, so to speak. And then I
Mm,
look at in terms of my business. This year, the 2025, several organizational clients, as I call it, in terms of people wanting performance improvement, assessments for their groups. Um, and I want more of that because I can help more people. You get the organizational income also. So, how can I replicate that? And really being plugged into power thinking that helps me in terms of self-efficacy also, right? Self-efficacy meaning fancy word for I have more confidence since I've done it before. How can I improve it? That's my goal. Taking what happened very well, that happened as what I viewed as success, and maybe it's not my total success, but continuous improvement for 2026, as opposed to saying, I was horrible at this and it's just going to be magic in 2026. I don't work that way. So I just submit of looking at what was successful. And I was in another session this morning. What they talked about was how can because a lot of people are like, I don't remember what happened in 2025. But if you I started looking through my pictures, look at your photo stream in 2025, and it will trigger some things that happened. Look at your old text messages, and you could declutter some of this stuff along the way as well. And that gives you some data points in terms of what happened in 2025. And I also want to recommend there is an awesome Carla loves assessments, certified in Myers-Briggs, Career Direct, DISC. Yes, I just think the data is so important in terms of getting that baseline on where you should go next. But Power Thinking in the Power Thinking app, there is an assessment tool, and I'm asking who has taken the assessment and this assessment tool is was developed by the University of Pennsylvania. So it's a research-based assessment that gives you an idea of where you are right now. And being that HR person, that career planning person, developed training plans, have supervised people that have developed training plans. When we are developing training plans, we're not developing on the strengths, we're developing it on what are the gaps. So where maybe I remember taking the assessment as well, and think it was empathy that I was surprised I didn't score as high on. And it's a set of behaviors that I may want to practice, right? To develop. That could be, okay, I want to improve, like I may feel empathetic, but am I communicating empathy? Those are the questions that you start asking if you look at the tool as something that you leverage for improvement going into 2026. So if you have no idea of what goals to set, I would say today or tomorrow take you could still take the power thinking assessment if even if you took it before, compare it, or be used as a basis. I want to improve my whatever, fill in the blank, my self-efficacy, my reaching out to others. I want to improve that in 2026. But now you have a baseline to compare it to.
Great. Well, we have someone on the line. We have Calvin Patterson, and anyone else. What are your thoughts about goals? Hit that *6. Calvin will get right to you. And I want to appreciate and welcome. Looks like is it Mussy? Let's bring that up on LinkedIn. It says LinkedIn user. It says, thank you, Stanley. It's a great honor to be part of today's session. My name is Mussy Demisi. So Mussy, mention where you're joining us from, and thank you for joining us. And she also said thank you, Carla Hill. Name is Mussy. So let us know where you're joining us from. Would really appreciate that. So folks, we also had a video, and Carla, I'd love to get your comments on that video where they mentioned the young lady who did an excellent job on goals and talked about 4 proven steps to achieve one's goals. Mentioned that 92% of people don't achieve their goals. So that's a big percentage. And so she mentioned those 4 proven steps, and I'd love for folks to comment on the video as well. So hit that *6. Love to hear from you. And are you all set with your goals? Are you working on them, or you haven't even started setting goals for 2026? And you may want to even share what those goals are. So look forward to hearing from you. Hit that *6. Let's go with Calvin Patterson. Calvin, thanks for joining us. Mention where you're joining us from. And your thoughts about goal setting for 2026. Welcome.
Hello, Stan. Hello, Power Thinking family. Calvin here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And of course, a timely topic being November of 2025. Really embraced everything that Carla shared. A couple of things resonated. One, in terms of knowing where we are, for me personally, my goals, most of them, if not all of them, are driven by the core values that I have defined for myself. 7 core values, and they're real simple: spirituality, personal health, family, organization, financial security, household, and leadership. And leadership is the one mostly connected to the consulting business that both me and the Queen, also known as my wife Anita, have. So when I plan my goals, they're in that box, spiritually. What do I want to do in 2026? How do I want to grow spiritually, whatever that may mean, reading more scriptures or meditating more or, going to more worship services or whatever it may mean.
Sure.
And the same approach to those other values as well. Another thing that Carla mentioned that was really impactful was the measuring part. So as we speak, I am assessing, looking at, financially, the profit loss statements for Earnest Harvest, the consulting business that I lead. what was the revenue? Where was the revenue coming from? Who were the clients? How many of them were they? How long did it take projects to be completed? All of, what comes with really assessing from a financial aspect, how did the business do?
Mhm.
Thus, once I'm looking at what happened where I am using Carla's terminology for 2025, then the goals that I set won't be as likely to be the so-called pie in the sky goals, either too low or too high, but really based on data that hopefully will drive, some goals that stretch me, that are smart, specific and measurable and attainable, that acronym SMART goals.
Yes.
So long story short, values drive the goals that I set, and measuring my progress, much like Carla mentioned, measuring my progress on a regular basis, not waiting to the end of the year
Mm-hmm.
to measure, how am I doing or how did I do?
Mm-hmm.
That's been really helpful with me continuing to set goals, because when you don't reach them and I don't reach them, sometimes it can be deflating.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't reach it again. I didn't do it again. I'm never going to reach these goals. So anyway, I'm going to hit pause right there. Thank you again for the great job that you and the rest of the Power Thinking family do to make this resource available, Stan.
Thank you, Calvin. And I appreciate you mentioned the Power Thinking family. It is not about me. It is about this group. And we have a number of excellent coaches, including yourself. You have a coaching business, Ernest Harvey. Harness. What is it? Ernest Harvest. And, and you're helping people. Carla, GPS, personal business strategies. We have so many folks out there who are part of this family, part of this community, who have businesses. And, through the app, we have this chat section where I encourage you all to go in. We have a Power Thinking group. Introduce yourself. Mention what you do. We'd love to hear from you. So, Carla, what did you think about what Calvin was mentioning, particularly about the values?
Oh, definitely tying them to your values. The challenge is really identifying how do you tie it to measurable outcomes from those values. So kudos to Calvin for identifying and working on linking them together. But and the other thing I heard from Calvin is also doing it on a regular basis, right? Not just at the end of the year, whether they're your quarterly statements or your monthly statements, but in all aspects of our life, right? Whether, like he said, it could be faith, family, finance, fun, right? Fitness, right? There's so many areas. So like in corporations, in business, in government, we have dashboards. I submit we need to have dashboards for our lives as well. What are we really doing on a regular basis? So I echo your call to action in terms of entering the downloading the Power Thinking app and entering the chat. Then we had someone this morning say, a long time listener, right? There's lots of people that listen that may not, for whatever reason, may not participate, but she's like, I'm gonna download the app. Right? That's
Yeah.
a great first step. She said that was her goal for 2026. And it could be earlier, but she said and during 2026, it's going to be downloaded, and the seeing all the benefits there. Like I said, the assessment is in there, the
Mhm.
opportunity to engage with people like yourselves, because the rest of the world, they're not. They're going to talk about goals on December 31st, right? What are your goals? But we are going to be working on them now. So if you have that goal of working on your goals, I just recommend downloading the app if you have not already. Put a message in the chat, but even downloading the assessment first so you can get a baseline, right? You don't have to just pick it out of the sky. This is the assessment that was created by the University of Pennsylvania Institute on Positive Psychology. That's part of the assets that Power Thinking owns. I'm a person that likes to leveraging the existing resources. So that gives you a base, and we can all speak the same language. Oh, what was your best score? What was your highest score, right? On that. And let's move towards increasing those scores. So to Calvin's point, that could be measurable, right? And we're all speaking the same language. Everyone that's participating in that app. And for those of you that don't have the app, there's 30-day free trial that you can go. Oh, I love see. I thank you, Stanley. So there's the power thinking assessment tool, right? Where now it does take a few minutes to do it, but anything worthwhile takes it. I think it's worth the investment of a few minutes of your time, right? And these are the 7 skills. And one thing I did commit to this morning, I have to write that down. What I said was, I've been in this program for 7 years, but it was this year. What happened good this year? This was the year that they weren't just running words. There were 2 categories. What, that sports person I am, proactive skills and reactive skills, defensive skills, preventative skills, whatever you want to call them. These are the skills that we have to develop to become a practitioner in anything. Part of my goal, and it's to become that resilience practitioner, is that I have to practice the skills of resilience. So this year I discovered, and I should have known because I've been exposed to them, but there are awareness skills that, like the ABC. Oh, are you just judging? Are you maximizing? Are you minimizing? All those things that are thinking traps. There's 8 thinking traps. But then those are those 7 concrete skills that we have to, I mean, do we master them every day? But we have to at least have a goal of knowing what there are. It starts with awareness, right? In terms of emotional regulation and impulse control, empathy, right? There they are right there. Self-efficacy, my favorite, because that is something that says that you have belief that you can do this, whatever it is, that you can do that. Optimism, causal analysis. What is the real cause of why we're succeeding or something, or why we're not succeeding or something? And reaching out. I think this Monday, this past week, I was submitting a proposal, and I had one newer laptop, one laptop wasn't working. And I'm like, I just started calling my sons. Then my son's girlfriend helped me. I had to reach out because I'm like, oh, I can keep spinning in circles and being stressed out, or I have people that can help me. And they did it in minutes, right? And I submitted the proposal on time. So the thing is leveraging, and really that's what went in my mind. I have to reach out, like, because it's that balance of, oh, I want to develop the skills, but the thing is, yes, I'm committed to developing the skills, but sometimes I just need help. And this morning when I was trying to get on this platform, my old laptop wasn't working, my new laptop wasn't, the camera wasn't on. Then I just kept pushing. Then I went on my phone, right? And I got on it towards the end. So it's staying in the fight long enough to get the win, to get the result. So what I committed to with those 7 skills is for 2026, Monday will be my emotional regulation day, right? Just practicing that. Tuesday will be my impulse control. Wednesday, empathy is the theme. And saying it, that's the other thing. If we set goals and we keep them to ourselves, I know I used to say, oh, I love accountability. I don't love accountability. What I love is accomplishing my goals. And I realize if I say them to someone else, I don't know why magically it increases the chances of me achieving those goals. So let's,
Mhm.
during the last 5-6 weeks of this year, let's put our goals into the chat and hold each other accountable. There's
Yeah.
Kenyan proverb, if you want to go fast, go by yourself, but if you want to go far, go with others. So this is an opportunity to go far and stretch ourselves a little bit and make it a little bit uncomfortable, but a good uncomfortable, right? Where we can mute some of the noise that's going on out there and improve. Most, if you're here because you want to improve, right?
Right. Great. Well, I wanted to show, so with the inner strengths of resilience, right, the 7 of them, as Carla mentioned, and with this assessment, what happens is when you click each of these uh, inner strengths that you see on the screen on LinkedIn, and we're on 5 platforms: LinkedIn, YouTube, we're on X, we're live on Facebook, and live on Twitch, if you've heard of that. And it's more of a for gamers. So we are expanding. And you when you click when you download the app, you get the 30-day free trial. You'll be asked for your banking information, your debit card or credit card, but you won't be billed for 30 days. So you can go in and mess around with this. Definitely, as Carla mentioned, take the assessment first, so that you can see where you are in your ability to control your emotions, your ability not to say or do the first thing that comes to mind, which is impulse control, your empathy, your ability to understand another person's experiences and emotions, and your self-efficacy, the belief that you have control over your ability to succeed. There's optimism, the view that all things will ultimately have a successful outcome. There's causal analysis, the ability to drill down to the root cause of a situation or problem, and of course, reaching out. And we had a person this morning, if you remember, Carla, Farrell Dove, who will be with us next week, the day before Thanksgiving, as we'll talk about gratitude. And she was just grateful that she was able to reach out to her child, her daughter, who helped her get on to TikTok. And she does some tremendous things on TikTok and Instagram. But if she hadn't reached out, she would not be able to mark that down as an accomplishment this year. So the first thing you know that we want you to do certainly is download the app so that you can kind of get a feel for how it all works. For example, and this was results from one of our members who sent this to me. You'll see in the background are the questions. There are 8 questions for each of the 7 inner strengths, and you'll get your score instantly. In this case, this individual, in terms of emotion regulation, which is the first one that they took, was rated above average. And you'll either be above average, you can be average, or you can be below average. And you'll establish, as Carla mentioned, that baseline. And then I would recommend 6 months later, take it again. So we'll be prompting you through notifications. We do send out notifications on a daily basis. You'll see this in the notification section. In this case, we actually on a Monday or Tuesday, we'll send you a reminder about those 7 inner strengths and those 7 skills. You'll see those the notifications on your drop down. You'll also see, and in this case, you'll see on the screen, it's in the drop down. I have something from ESPN and something from Newsbreak, but then there's Power Thinking, right there with with those big apps, sending you, positive information that's going to help you. So if you do nothing else, download the app. We'll be sending you some notifications associated with goals as we move forward. And Carla, I do want to thank you for doing this and taking the time out to be with us this evening and share your expertise. Let folks know how they can get in touch with you.
Yes, Stanley. You can go to my website, gpscareerandbusinessstrategies.com. You can also text me directly at 215-802-0050. And the most fun way, meet me in the Power Thinking chat app. I'll be there.
Yep. In the go in the menu section in Power Thinking app, you'll see my chat. Click, and you can reach out. You can find other members and communicate with them directly via text, via audio. You can call them through the app or video. So a lot of exciting features. Make it a goal to fully utilize this app. We've loaded it with features. We have AI. You hear a lot of talk about AI. AI is in there as well. So I want to thank you all for being with us on this Wednesday. Next week, the day before Thanksgiving, we'll have Farrell and Dove with us to talk about, zero in on putting things in perspective, that skill that we have of putting things in perspective, focusing on gratitude. And it's a great day to do that. I do see, okay, we'll do this. We'll go into overtime because we have Greg Jones. And Greg, why don't you share where you're calling us from and your thoughts about goal setting. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the PowerThinking family. Calling in from the Rosedale section of Queens, New York. And, the topic of goal setting very timely today. In my mentoring session with the fifth grade boys that we mentor with every Wednesday, ages 9, 10, and 11, I posed a question to them on a 5 index card. And that question was, if you had $5 million, what were the 5 things you would do if you had $5 million? And the response varied and were very interesting. The handwriting was just horrific for 9 and 10-year-olds, 5th graders. But I'm going to share one with the group. This is from Logan, Logan Pope. Number 1, he would donate to charity. Number 2, he'd become the CEO of all banks. Number 3, he would get a stack of shoes and clothing. Number 4, he would help the homeless. And number 5, he would donate to an adoption center.
Wow.
And then on the back of the card, I asked him, what are the 3 areas you think you need help with? And Logan said, I need to be more determined. I need to show more independence. And I need to be proud of myself.
Wow.
So I know there's a tie-in to the video, as I watched the video. And whether these young men, and I can't, obviously for time reasons, I can't read all the cards. There's about 28 boys that we had. But when you write things down, even at that tender age, even at that age, there's you write it down and you put together a plan of action. It increases your odds and your chances of achieving those goals, whatever those goals are.
Yeah.
And so the goal setting mindset and seed that we want to have, that we want people in general to have, especially young people in particular to have, we need to start it early.
Perfect.
You need to start it with your kids, your grandkids. Start working that goal setting muscle. And that video, just kind of confirms the importance of really sitting down, dreaming. Because the whole exercise today with the boys was to get them to dream.
Yeah.
And
Great.
then write it down. And then, the next time we meet, we'll start coming up with a plan of action, a game plan to achieve what it is they wrote down. So,
Fantastic.
that ties right into the video. I thought the video was excellent. Thank you.
Great job. Great work there, Greg. You do a lot of work in the community and with young people. I remember the story with your grandson and how you were able to help him with his emotion regulation. So just keep up the fantastic work. And every single one of you, you're doing wonderful work. Carla, thank you again for joining us. And I'm going to move into our audience and on our phone lines and acknowledge the folks that I didn't get a chance to say hi to. And let's see who we have. Folks, remember, make it a fantastic remainder of the week. Set those goals. Set the big dream. Break them down. Remember the obstacles and make sure that you're staying up on your resilience so that you can work through the obstacles associated with those goals. So wish each and every one of you a great week. Bill Peterson, I see you. Great. Thanks for joining us. Leola Martin, I didn't mention you earlier. Eric Olson, thanks for joining us as well. And everyone else, make it a wonderful remainder of the week. And remember, since we spend all of our time thinking, we must think with power and utilize power thinking. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. All right, we'll see you. And on our LinkedIn, on YouTube, on X, on Facebook, on Twitch. We thank you so much. And Carla, thank you for joining us and doing the great job that you typically do. Have a great one, everybody.
My pleasure. Thank you, Stanley.